Hi everyone. I wanted to do a quick video for you to talk a little bit about the GAPS model. And so the GAPS model is perhaps the biggest model that we're going to be talking about today. And I wanted to explain it because you're going to be going out and talking to different members of your organization about this GAPS model. So the GAPS model has four components, right? The first one is provider gap. So that is not knowing what your customers expect. And that's perhaps the biggest gap that I think agencies often have. And because a lot of agencies are not doing systemic research with their customer base to find out what it is that their customers want. And not only customers that are currently taking transit, but customers who don't take transit. Why is it that they don't take transit? What is it that they want from transit that transit is not currently providing? So that's the big gap. And organizations that are really intimate with understanding what their customers want are organizations that are very focused on research, and their understanding comes not only from questioning customers but questioning frontline employees who deal with customers. And so part of it is you have to have a really good relationship that allows information to flow up from the man, who is, or the woman who is frontline staff member, right all the way up to CEO and general manager, so that they can then enact policies that will help us move and make decisions off of what indeed customers want. The second gap has to do with customer service design. And this is another area that we need to work on, because the idea is, okay, once I figure out what is it that the customers want, then how do I design encounters? How do I design processes and policies that focus on what the customer wants? And that may be everything from how I come up with new bus stops and new train stops to parking, or what my shelters look like at a stop, and so forth and so on, how people access and buy tickets, how people interact with my organization. So once we come up with once we have an understanding of what it is customers want, then we design systems. And I'll give you an example. I was working with one agency where, in order to park at the station and then take public transportation, if you were going to park there for one day, then you just showed up, you paid for your parking ticket at one of the kiosks, you put it on on your dash, and you went about your business. But if you wanted to park overnight, then you would need to access the website beforehand, print out a parking permit, pay via credit card, then bring that permit with you, put it on your dash, and then go on to take a train or a bus for an extended period of time. That is not customer centric design, for a number of reasons. One, it's so different from what customers are expected to do on a daily basis. It's not intuitive. Customers would not know that they needed to do that. The other thing is it's inflexible. So if customers don't do that, there is no way at the kiosk to get an overnight pass. And in fact, the organization itself doesn't even issue the overnight passes. They have hired a third party to manage that process. So on multiple levels, it's not customer centric design. And I think we have to come up with customer centric standards, and then deliver to them. And that is the third gap. What is that performance gap? Are we what's our on-time performance? What's our safety? But not only basic things like safety and on-time performance, which I think most agencies have. Really, we have to look deeper and say, what is it that is implicit and explicit in our promise that we're not delivering to? And then think about that from both an internal and external perspective. And lastly is this issue of communication. How are we communicating with our audiences internally and externally? Are we over promising and under delivering? And what does that look like? From an over promising and under delivering perspective, what does that look like? So these are your gaps, and I'm hoping that you will have conversations. You can go through the slides and see I've outlined the different components of every single one of those gaps, so that you can have really intense, and deliberate conversations with your colleagues, and then bring that information, take notes, and then bring that information back, because on Friday we're going to have some good discussions around those topics. Okay, see you then.